Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to our live stream today. As always, before I begin, I need to make sure my audio is working correctly, so please let me know if you can hear me so that we can go ahead and proceed with today's content. So if you are able to hear me loud and clear, please let me know and we will continue. And I will just wait for your confirmation before I do so. Loud and clear? All right, perfect. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Today is our last live stream of the year before we close the year down. The next live stream will happen next year in January. We do have a holiday coming up, so we're off that week, and we will come back next year with the additional content for the live stream. The final session that we have of this year is how to deploy one of our, well, in this example today, we're going to deploy two RMAs from our website, and it is one of the more frequently asked questions from our customers. The question is, how do we take these RMAs and how do we deploy them to our own website? So today we're going to be looking at that. Today's live stream is not going to be very long. I think I'm estimating about 15 or 20 minutes because it's not very difficult to deploy these RMAs, as you'll see from today's live stream. So let's begin. Some of the newer RMAs that we have here at the very top, you'll see custom CRM, knowledge base, recruiting management. These applications have a lot of data pages, approximately anywhere from 40 to 60 data pages. And when you request the application, let's say custom CRM, you go into the details, maybe you do a live preview of the application so that you can see the functionality. You can see this one has 82 data pages. When you request the app, by clicking on this button here, Caspio's team is going to upload that application into your account. Okay, so here it is. I've already uploaded it to my account. I have the entire application here, and I've also requested our online store. So back on the RMA page, if I go back, so the two applications I requested are the custom CRM and the online store. Now, in addition to getting the application uploaded to your account, give me just 1 second. In addition to getting the, as I was saying, in addition to getting the app uploaded to your account, our team is also going to send you an email, okay, with the instructions on how to deploy the application, okay. Now, when you deploy the application, we highly recommend that you use the template that we give you, okay. It's very difficult to deploy this application into a different template because these data pages have been optimized to really fit this template that we provide. So when you request the application and we send you the email, you're also going to get a link here to download the actual template, all of the web pages that come for that application. And I've already downloaded both of them for the online store and the custom CRM because I received 2 emails. So on my desktop, you're going to have 2 zip files. Okay, we have the one for the custom CRM and we have the one for the online store. Okay, so when you click on that link in the email, you're going to be able to download both files. And what you want to do next is you want to unzip the file. Okay, so when I click on the custom CRM, let me come back here. Here are all the files that come inside that folder. Okay, and these are all the HTML files for that website, okay, where you can embed all of your data pages. Now, here's what I like to do. I like to create another folder here on my desktop. Let's call this Sales CRM, okay, or we can call it Custom CRM. And I'm just going to unzip all of these files. I'm going to highlight all of them and move them inside that folder so I unzip all of my files. All right, so now that I unzipped it, I can close that and I can see all of those web files. Now, for those of you who have an HTML background and understand some basic HTML concepts in CSS, you can right-click on each one of these web files and you can open that up in Notepad++. That's what I do if you wish to edit the HTML document. You don't need to. The good news about getting the HTML template from Caspio is all of those 82 data pages for the custom CRM app are automatically deployed inside this web template, right? So everything that you see here is already automatically done for you. You don't have to go into your application now. So if I go back to my account, you don't have to open up the custom CRM. You don't have to go to data pages, and you don't have to now hit deploy, grab the deploy code, and then now find a place where you need to deploy that. It's already done for you, okay? Once you download that template for all of your web files, all of those deploy codes are already in there. all you need to do is push this folder, all right, and all of the web files to your web server, your hosting company. Okay, and in the past, I've used GoDaddy, I've used One-in-One. They allow you to host your own web files, your own HTML files. Okay, companies like Weebly and Wix, I don't believe they allow you to do that. They have a very simple website builder that you can use to build your own website very quickly. But if you're using GoDaddy, if you're using One-in-One, they do allow you to host your own HTML files. Okay, which gives you a lot more control when it comes to editing your website. If you're using Weebly or Wix, it's drag and drop. You're limited in terms of creativity and what you can do with your website, okay? Because you're constrained in terms of how you can move your objects. But by being able to edit your own HTML files, you really have full control in terms of layout and how all of your objects are oriented. So now, to move this file to your web host, your web server, I use WinSCP, which is a very simple FTP client that you can download for your computer as well. And all this tool allows you to do is to move the files that you see here on the left-hand side. So the files on the left side are all of the locally stored files on your computer. The files that you see on the right-hand side are with your hosting provider. So if you're using GoDaddy or One-in-One, they're going to provide you with the information that you need to log in here on the right-hand side. I'm already logged in. If you haven't, you're going to see a login screen, and all that information is provided by your hosting company. Once you log in, you can see all the files that are hosted within GoDaddy or within One-in-One, depending on which one you're using. Okay. Now, Caspio, as I mentioned in the previous live stream, Caspio owns the domain sumapp.com. And these are all of my personal files that I've uploaded to SumApp over the years. Okay, if you have your own domain name purchased with GoDaddy or One-in-One, let's say maybe sample.com or company.com, you're going to have access to your root folder, your directory, where you can push all of your files. And then when you push those files, your domain is going to be, let's say, company.com / and then whatever the files are, index.html or all of your other web pages. Okay? So from here, it's actually very, very simple. Here is the custom CRM folder that you're seeing here on my desktop. Right now, I'm accessing all of my files on my desktop, but I can access all of my other folders depending on where I save that file. Okay, so now if I want to make all of those web pages inside this folder live, I can just move that folder over to the right into my directory, and it's just going to take a few seconds for all the files to be pushed. You can see how quickly we can do that. And let me just reconnect. And it's done. Okay, so now all of these web pages are sitting inside this folder custom CRM. So I just need to find it. Here's custom CRM, and it's located here on the sumapp.com / custom CRM. So if I go to my domain, actually inside that folder, let's open it. Let's go to index.html. There's still one more step left, but let's see what it looks like if I go to sumapp.com / custom CRM / index.html. So back on the website, sumapp.com / custom CRM / index.html. Okay, so there's still one more step that's left that we need to do before we can actually see that web page. So in addition to getting that email from Caspio, this one here, okay, you're also going to get instructions on how to deploy that application. Okay, there's one more step left. I have it saved here in my browser, so let's come back here to the RMA checklist. And what we need to do is we need to go inside the application now and change the base URL, okay, inside the app parameters section. And if you follow the instructions, you'll know exactly where to go. Okay, so now if I go back to my application in the overview section, and we click on manage app parameters, there is the custom URL base. All right, so we need to edit that, and we need to include the URL where those files are hosted. So as we said, it's going to be https sumapp.com, and it's inside a folder called custom CRM. So that's the folder that contains all of our HTML files, and that's really all we need to do. So if I hit save, and if I go back now and try that URL one more time, I think I'm going to have to go inside an additional folder, but let me see. sumapp.com custom CRM index.html. Okay. admin login. Let me take a look. Why don't we go inside? I think it's actually inside this folder, admin, index.html. Okay, these are additional web pages that you don't need, I believe, but if we go to the admin folder and we go to index.html, I think that's where I actually need to go. So custom CRM, admin folder, and then index.html. I forgot my NP here, so NP. Okay, I think I may already actually be logged in. I think that's why it's redirecting me. Let me take a look. Custom CRM. Hang on just for 1 second. Custom CRM, sumapp.com, NP. It's, for some reason, it's logging me out, but it's not taking me back to my folder, which is NP. Very strange. Let me go inside my application here and figure this out. Data pages, let's do a preview. See what it does. Okay. Custom CRM. What if we were to, let me come back here. Sorry about that. Admin folder. Yeah, it should just be the index page. Index. How about we go to dashboard.html. Dashboard.html. sumapp.com, np, custom CRM, dashboard.html. I just did this yesterday and it worked correctly, so now I'm trying to figure out why it's not working the way it's supposed to. Dashboard, custom CRM, np. Hang on for 1 second. I will figure this out. Very strange that it's not working the way it's supposed to. I just literally did this yesterday and it worked just fine. And today, if for some reason it's giving me... Oh, because I forgot the NP here. Okay, that's why. So let me edit this and include my folder NP. NP is my folder where I have all of my files. So if you look at my WinNCP, you will see that if I go back out one more and then one more, you can see that all of my files are inside my own folder called NP. Every Caspio employee on SumApp has their own initials where they store all of their files. So I have to make sure I include NP here as well. That's why it's pushing it back. So let me try that again. Save. Hopefully that works correctly. Let's come back here. Custom CRM, NP, and let's try the index.html, which is the home page. All right, perfect. There it is. Now, when it comes to modifying the template, you can actually now locally, inside that folder, you can find that index page. Here it is. Okay, so that's the index page for the admin folder. You can right-click and open that up in Notepad++. Okay, so the file I need to locate somewhere else. Let me come back here. If you want to modify the heading that you see here, I actually need to look where inside the template I need to go to find that. I don't want to do that in the live stream, but you have the ability to remove this top heading because there's really no need for that unless you want to modify it and put like an admin login and just remove this text that's underneath. Okay, I need to find out where this is actually hosted on the template, which we can do later today. And now I can log in. But before I log in, from here what you want to do is go inside your application. You have all of your tables here. Here's my table of users. You can clean out this table because this is all fictitious data that's provided by Caspio. Obviously, this is not going to have your employee information. So what you would do is you would delete all of this. I'm not going to delete all of them, but let me just change one. I want to find my admin. So here's an admin. And let me just make sure I have the right password here. So we're going to go ahead and just change this to maybe test123. Test123. But you definitely want to clean out the data so that you can use your own company information inside the user table and not arbitrary data that's provided by Caspio, right? So if I log in as administrator at caspio.com with the password that I just set as the admin, I should be able to log into this application. So administrator at caspio.com and test123, hit login. And I am logged into the application. Now, of course, what you need to do here is not only modify your user table, you want to go to your other tables that contain your sales data and also your contact data, and you want to clean all of this out. So you definitely want to delete all of the sample data so that you can start fresh with your own data. So now when I log in as the admin, I won't actually see any data here. This will all be empty inside this application. Okay. Is it possible to deploy this to your own website template? Yes, you can have your own website template, but it's going to be a lot more work because now you have to figure out on your template, where you're going to deploy the search form, where you're going to deploy the charts. But if you use the one provided by Caspio, it's already done for you automatically. Okay. Appreciate the content. Yeah, this is realness. This is as real as it gets. Sometimes I'm put on the spot, because as you can see, a few times now, I've run into some snags in a live session, and this happens. Even when I'm building my own applications, I run into mistakes all the time, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen as you're putting content together, especially if you're coding and using some basic HTML and CSS. If you're off just by one bracket or one quote, it's going to throw the entire code off. Everything is going to go completely off, and now you have to figure out how to debug that, troubleshoot that, and fix it. Just last week I was continuing to work on my application that I'm putting together. I'm considering actually showing people how to do this in the live stream. Let me log in as Corey L. This is just something that I'm kind of building on the side. But here, when you log into a dashboard, you have the ability to filter. And then when you're looking at customers, you can, instead of having a new navigation menu link here to add a new customer, you can click on the button here that has a pop-up like that with a nice opacity here in the background. And then when you hit submit, you add a new customer to your results page. Also in the details page for a customer, you can edit the customer's details with a nice pop-up. We can add a new log this way, and we can also add a new deal if we closed a new sale. Okay. Very typical in an application like this to see an environment like that where you can have these nice pop-ups to be able to quickly edit, as opposed to creating a new navigation link to add something new. Okay, so let me come back here to our example today, and hopefully you see how quickly you can push this custom CRM live. Anyone can download an FTP client. Again, as I said, I'm using WinSCP. So if you want to download this client, it's free. You can go to that website. Just look for Google WinSCP, and you're going to be able to find it. And then here you can download it. And it's really fun because it's easy to move files from your local computer to your web server. Okay. And if you're using GoDaddy, they give you the ability to host your own HTML files. You don't have to use WinSCP if you're comfortable using FileZilla. I've used FileZilla in the past as well. It's the same exact thing. You're going to see a slightly looking different FTP client, but it's the same concept. You're moving your files from your local computer to your web server to push your own HTML files. Okay. And let's just say for our custom CRM, if you modified some of your HTML files locally, let's say you're editing, I need to find where those pages are. So if you're editing the admin login page here offline, once you're done saving your HTML document, you can push that file to your web server or your hosting company to get the update. So now your website will look different because you made changes offline. Okay. All right, let's take a look at our last example today, which is, again, it's the same process, exactly the same thing as we just did. I'm going to close that, close that, close that. I'll keep that open. And if you request the online store, you're going to be able to see it in your account. Here's my online store. I also downloaded the HTML files, so I'm going to do the same thing as before. I will just create another folder here. OS for online store. I'll open up all of my files, and I'll just move all of my files to that folder to unzip it. And right away, you're going to be able to see that here in your FTP client. So if we go back up, there's OS. So that's the folder I just created that contains all of those files. Let's go back. And now we're just going to push those files to my SUM app. Let me make sure I don't have a folder called OS. I don't want to have the same folder twice. I don't have it, so let's move that here. Not from there, from here, OS. So it's just going to take a few seconds. Okay, connect. There we go. So now we can go to our SumApp page. So if I open up my Chrome, we can go to sumapp.com npos folder, and let me just see what page I need to access. So we'll open up the OS folder, index.html. Okay, index.html. All right, so there it is. It's live on my SumApp account. Just imagine if you guys had your own domain. Okay, if you had your own domain called david.com or onlinestore.com, it's really hard to find a .com web address these days because most of them are taken. But if you come up with something clever, you can push all of your files now to that web page. Now, one final step, again, just like the custom CRM, we have to go to our app, online store. Let's go into the overview, manage our app parameters, and then just find the base URL, click edit, and make sure you put your directory where you have the files, npos, and that's it. Save. And you're done. So now it's completely live. You know, people can sign up for an account. And one last thing that you want to do inside that application is open up your tables and make sure you clean all the tables so it has all of your data, right? So if you're looking at, let's see, where are all of my categories? So if you guys are not selling furniture, if you're selling something else like t-shirts, you want to list down all of your categories. And then when you change these categories, let's say you add something completely different. How about shoes? Okay, I don't know if this is going to be accepted. Let me see. If I add shoes and if I go back to the home page, I should be able to see that category listed here. And there we have shoes. Okay, so you just have to make sure you modify the table data. And then if you need some assistance, more assistance into deploying these data pages into your own template, then Caspio does provide that service. I would request that you guys go through our PS team to get that done. Because again, most of the data pages that you see here are customized and optimized to fit the template that Caspio provides. Okay. Let me see a question here. Is that a model pop? Yes, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Most Bootstrap templates that you download come with that already packaged in. So it's really fun to deploy your Caspio data pages into that pop-up to get that. So that's a good question, okay, and that is correct. That is a model pop-up inside the other template that I just demoed. So if I come back here to my Sales CRM demo, just so everyone knows, when you're looking at the pop-up, yeah, this already comes with the Bootstrap template. It's provided. Everything is there for you. You just have to embed the Caspio data page into that pop-up. Let's take a look at the question here. How would one overcome the iframe on GoDaddy? Because I have found it very difficult to deploy Caspio data pages on there, especially the login pages. It creates that page within itself. Yeah, so when it comes to iframe, iframe is a window within a window, right? So it's not an actual part of the content of the web page. So I don't recommend using iframe. Okay, Caspio is it's not going to handle Caspio very well if you're using iframe deployment. It has to be a strict embed deployment method, which I know Wix and I don't know about GoDaddy. I haven't used GoDaddy in a long time, but I know Wix has that limitation because they use iframe deployment. So I don't recommend that you guys use a website builder that has iframe deployment method, because then your parameters won't work. They won't sync up correctly when you pass the parameters inside the URL. Okay, so stay away from website builders that use iframe deployment. Okay, so I apologize that you have to learn it here in the live stream. Someone should have told you that at Caspio if you talk to anyone, if you were trying to use Wix or Go. I don't know about GoDaddy. I thought GoDaddy had the embed deployment method. I'm not sure because I haven't used it in a long time. I know Weebly has the embed deployment method. I also know Webflow and Squarespace are the same way. But yeah, Wix and apparently now GoDaddy, which I wasn't aware of. Maybe You may want to talk to their support team and see if they have a true embed deployment method as opposed to iframe. Okay. So Didier, sorry about that. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know, see if you can find a website builder that doesn't use iframe. Okay. WordPress Elementor Pro works great. Okay, so there's another example that somebody can use. WordPress. I mean, I've heard of WordPress. I've used WordPress before myself, WordPress.com and .org. I know that they work perfectly fine, but Elementor Pro, I don't know if I've ever heard of that, but I'll take your word for it. And if you're validating and saying that it works great, I won't disagree with you on that. So as I said before, if you guys are planning on using, let me come back to the RMA gallery. Some of these recent RMAs that we released, you know, I recommend that you use the template that Caspio provides. Some of the older RMAs that you see are easier to deploy because they have less data pages. You can still use the template that Caspio provides, but it's much easier to deploy these because I think they come with about anywhere from 10 to 15 data pages. But as you can see, this one has 82 data pages. And because it's already woven into the template when you get the HTML files, that's really the main reason why I recommend you use our template. Okay, because it's already set up for you. You don't have to deploy it, hit deploy, copy the embed code, and paste it into your HTML file. Is there a payment gateway in the online store? I don't think, okay, so the payment gateway in the online store, when you request it, it's not set up automatically. So you still have to, you know, inside your account, you'll have to, let me come back here, go under tools and set up your payment processors because you need to provide your credentials either with PayPal or Stripe in order to connect your own, and then inside the application you can include a payment gateway and you can connect to the application to monetize, right? So you have to go through this process because you have to provide your Stripe credentials and your PayPal credentials inside the wizard in order to connect that. And then when you do that in the application itself, what you would do, data pages, public, let me just find it. Hidden quantity, product details, product description, property quantity form, registration, shared, user. I'm just trying to find the form. I haven't deployed this application in a very long time. I'm just trying to find the checkout profile. Checkout payment form. I think it's this one here. So when you click edit. Okay, so here you would have to use payment. Okay, so it's going to give me this pop-up saying you need a payment processor before you can configure the payment, right? So you would set that up first, and then you're going to be able to configure that on this screen where you can allow people to enter their credit card information, expiration date, credit card type, and all that good stuff. You will be able to see 4 different fields here, added automatically once you set up the payment processor. Okay. Let's see. WordPress is very solid and easy to manage and deploy. Yeah, it is. I definitely agree with that. I have used WordPress before. I did a video a long time ago on how to deploy a Caspio application to WordPress. You just have to go to YouTube and look for Caspio WordPress, and there's going to be a very long video, I think it's about 50 minutes, that shows you how to take a simple app and how to deploy it to WordPress. So I did that video a long time ago. Which other website builder did you mention that works well? 1&1? So I've used 1&1 to host my own HTML files. So that's the way I build my own websites. Okay, so what I do is I'll go to Google, and let's say I'm looking for maybe like an admin template. Okay, so I'll look for something like this, free admin bootstrap template. And you can find a lot of them that are completely free, right? So if I go to 25 free Bootstrap dashboard admin templates. Say I like this template here. Okay, well, let me see. If I go to it, perfect. Let me see what the template looks like first. I'll do a live preview. And if I love the navigation, if I love the styling, if I love the way this template looks, okay, which I do like this template. I might download this later on. It's pretty clean. I'm just going to download it, right? So I will download this. Let me see something really quickly. I have to find the instructions on how to download this template. Code, Insights, Projects. That's the template, but where are my instructions to go to File? Oh, download an installation. Okay. Click the clone or download button in GitHub. Where's my download button? Usually this is very simple. All right, let's not do a Git template. Let's just find something different then. Forget that. We'll find a different one. Come back here. Let me see if I can find a different template to download. How about this one? I'll figure out that later. All right, this is a little bit more simple. So I can do a live preview to see what that template looks like. Let's do a live preview. Okay, so say you like this template here, you can come back to it. Hopefully this allows me to download it. Free version, okay, download, provide my information. So basically when you download any one of these free templates, the way it comes to you is going to be a zip folder. Okay, and you do the same thing, you unzip the file inside your own folder here, and now what I like to do to modify my templates is I open up each web page inside Notepad++, and I modify my, my HTML files locally in terms of presentation and the way they look. So for example, here's the template I'm using for the this one here. Let's come back to my app examples, operations, sales CRM, to the left, okay, on this template. So I will go into, these are my pages, so you'll see dashboard. So you see dashboard, you see customers, you see reports. Okay, these are all of my web pages, okay, reports. Now, on this page called dashboard.html, let's say I wanted to add another link. So I will right-click and open this up in Notepad++, and I will find that section in my template. So let's come up here to the top. You will see dashboard, you will see customers, you will see reports. Let's say I wanted to add another page underneath this. So I need to copy the entire LI class here, and I'm just going to paste that underneath. And I will call this new customer. And I will save that now. Now that I save that web page, I have new customer. I'll come back to my FTP client, and I just need to find that, right? So it's the sales folder, okay? And that application is hosted on some app. It is hosted on inside a sales folder. So let me find my sales folder. Here's my sales folder. And now I just need to override the dashboard page. So if I move that back to the right, I say yes. I override it. Now on my website, you're going to be able to see a newly added page called new customer. Okay, and now it's live. I modified it locally. I pushed the file using my FTP client. I override my page that's already live, and now you can see that right there. Okay, if I change the icon locally, so if I go back to my Notepad++, I don't like that icon that I use, so that's users. Why don't we just say user for one person? Okay, okay, so that's my new icon. Even before I push this file live, you know, even here in my sales folder, I can double click to see what it looks like locally, and you can see it's not live yet, it's just local, but I can see the update before I push that file. If I want to add this icon to the right of my navigation menu, I can do that as well, right? So if I do something like this, right, let's say we grab that icon and we put that next to my new customer name, like, well, let's push it here like that. Save. Let me see what that looks like. So I will refresh, and now you can see the icon on both sides. And now let's say I'm happy with that. Well, now I can come back here, reload, and just push that file so it's live on my website. And now I need to go back to my page that's live, refresh, and now you're going to be able to see that change. Okay, so hopefully you can see how I modify things locally, just using some basic knowledge of HTML and CSS. Well, in this case, just HTML, nothing to do with CSS just yet. Obviously, I don't like the way this looks, and I don't need to have this page because the way I'm adding my customer is by clicking on the button up here. That's how I add a customer. So therefore, this is a bit of an overkill on this page. So I will just come back to my dashboard page, and I will completely remove that. There's no need for me to have that. I'm going to save now, and I will once again reload, push my file, override it, and then now on the web you will see how we revert back to what we had before. Okay. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight on how I modified my own HTML files. I first find a template that I like online. A lot of these are free that you can download. Some of them are paid, but I usually look for the free ones. This was free, and I really like the design. So I downloaded it. I have all the web files locally, and then I would just modify my HTML files. I buy my domain either using 1&1 or GoDaddy. So I'll go there, I'll purchase my domain. They give you the ability now to push your own files. Once you modify your files locally, push those files to your using an FTP client to your web server, and then you should be able to now go to your domain and be able to see what it looks like. I use all different types of icon libraries. I use many different ones. Font Awesome, I use many different ones. But I usually just go with the ones that come with the template. Okay. I'm not very picky when it comes to icons. So whatever comes with the template, I'll usually just use that. So there is no live stream next Monday. As I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, today is our last live stream for the year, and we'll come back next year with the new live stream. Okay, and I should be able to release a new topic sometime today. It's for both. So the question here is, you mentioned 101. Is that for domain registration and hosting, or just registration? It's for both, for hosting and domain registration. Okay. And if you guys are looking to, modify the look and feel of the template, usually what I do is I use the inspect tool. By hitting F12 on the keyboard, you can bring this up. And now you can inspect every element of your website. So for example, let's say I'm inspecting this little icon here for mail. Well, let me just find it. So all of that here is under LI. So you see this LI class nav item dropdown. Let me see if there's more to it. Nope, just that one. So if I don't want this to be on my website, I will find this now in my web page called dashboard.html. So this section here, nav item dropdown. Okay, so I'll come back to my dashboard page, and I already know where that is. I think it's down here somewhere. I can also do Control F if I wanted to. Let me come back. No arrow MX1. Here it is. So this is the LI that now shows you that little envelope that you see on my web page. So this entire section, you see this entire LI. So from here to here, the reason why you see all of this text here, because on the web page, when you click on that, you're going to be able to see a drop down with all of that text. But this came with the template. Now, I could create this in Caspio as a Caspio data page, deploy it in that section to be able to display all of those messages. But if I don't want that, I will just come back to my file and I will just remove that entire li section. So I will delete that from my dashboard page, you see, from dashboard page. Save, come back, reload, push that back to my live SumApp account, and then come back here. This is the live one. Refresh, and you will no longer see that now in my template. It's completely removed. Okay. Let's see what else we can do. If I highlight my entire navigation menu here on the left-hand side, okay, I highlighted this whole entire navigation menu. I clicked on it. You will see now the background color BG gradient primary, okay. And now if you want to modify the background to something else, you can change that color, let's say to black 000, and oh, it has the background image here. So we would have to remove the background image because there's an additional background image here that's giving you that blue color. You can see like that, okay. So now if I wanted to just have it be black, I can go to my folder. So SumApp, Sales, CSS, SB Admin 2. So that's the name of my CSS file, and it's inside Sales, CSS, and that's the file name. So if I come back to my folder here, Sales, CSS, which one was it? So it's this one here. So this is the actual file that we can open up in Notepad++ as well. All right, and now I need to look for it. So it is called BG. So why don't we just copy that, come back to our file, do a control F to find it. All right, so here it is. So here's that style. You can actually change the background color now to black, 000. Save. And remove the background image. So remove this entire section here. Okay, we're going to save that. So now I save my file locally. And what I need to do now is just push that using the my FTP client. So let's come back to the CSS folder. Here's that file. Open up this folder and just move this over here. Override. Come back to your site. Refresh. And now you have a black navigation menu on the left-hand side. Okay. How do I inspect the tool on the bottom? Okay, so when you do this, when you bring this up over here to the right, you're going to be able to position the dock. Okay, so if I go to the right, it'll be on the right-hand side. Whatever preference you have in terms of layout, some people like to have it here pushed to the right so they can see the entire web page and then they modify. But I like it on the bottom. That's my preference. It's easier for me to look at it that way because I've used it on the bottom section for so long. Now, I obviously want to revert back to my blue navigation menu, so I'll come back here and I'll just do Control Z. Okay. Okay, so now I have my background color back. I brought back the image. I saved that, and let me just fix that because I don't like this black navigation menu here. I like it blue because that's the way it came with the template. I mean, I've used a black navigation menu before, but I think in this template here, I just don't think it looks as good. It's too high of a contrast for my taste. So let's refresh. And let's go back here. Override, refresh, and done. Okay. So that is the process that I go. I mean, we kind of went overboard a little bit in terms of the content, but since questions came about it, I decided to show you a little bit more in terms of how I modify my web pages offline, which you can do very easily. And even if it's locally stored, right, you can see this is not live. This is still back on my computer. I could have made those changes locally before I pushed them live to my website. Okay, so if it's one-on-one and you have a domain, let's say onlinestore.com, you're going to get a directory where you can push all of your web pages. Your index page, which is your home page, and then if you have other folders and subdirectories, you have your other HTML files inside those folders. Okay. All right. That's all the content that we had today. I hope that you enjoyed today's class. I won't see you guys for a few days, so happy holidays and happy new year. I wish you guys all the best, and I hope to see you guys next year for more content. New topic will be released either today or tomorrow, and you will be able to see it on our YouTube channel. But I'm trying to decide between two topics. I haven't decided which one I want to go with. Yeah, thank you, Darlene. Didier, thank you so much for coming back. I know, Brian, you've been here as well. Steven, thank you so much, too. FB Serve. You guys are great. Yeah, I appreciate the comments and feedback. Thank you so much. I try to make things as easy as possible to understand. Caspio, first and foremost, is no-code platform because you can accomplish a lot using no-code. But at least, with the industry standard languages, you can extend your applications using some basic HTML and CSS. You don't have to learn a proprietary language. It's all standard coding. And if you go down that path, you can really immerse yourself and get creative in terms of what you can develop. Okay. Yeah, you guys can always help me decide between the topics. If you want to suggest a topic, you're definitely welcome to do that as well. Most of you have my email, so just send me an email if there's ever something that you're interested in seeing in one of these live streams. It will help me out a lot in terms of what to talk about, because sometimes even I struggle between the topics. Okay. I know that people in the past wanted to see more on triggers, so that was one of the topics, and also tasks. So between the triggers and the tasks, that's what I was struggling between. Because the first trigger section live stream that we had wasn't complete. We didn't talk about variables, we didn't talk about loops, so we missed a few of the actions that we can use. So I was going to complete the triggers actions with another session or talk about tasks, because we haven't talked about tasks yet, which is event-based operation. Okay, well, there we go. Katie says she wants to have a more complex tutorial on triggered actions. So that will sway us in a direction of talking about that maybe for the next live stream. But let me see. Can you show how we can embed software license or any legal things to our software? Well, that depends. I don't know if I'll be able to do that to your software. Depends on the software that you're using. Darlene, if you want to do me a favor, can you send me a more elaborate email on what you're hoping to do? So here's my email. Send me an email of what exactly you're hoping to do, and then I'll let you know if it's something that we can do. Okay? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're hoping to do, and then I'll talk with our team and see if we are able to do it in your software. Maybe I can create a free trial, if they have a free trial with the software that you use, on how to deploy it. Okay? Because we will need to gain access to that software somehow in order to show the deployment. The thing is that if this software is like Weebly or WordPress, one of those website builders, then okay, because a lot more people can benefit from it. But if it's something that will not benefit the group, I'm not sure that we can include it in the live stream, because we're trying to talk, when these topics come to mind, I'm trying to reach out to everyone, in terms of if it's beneficial to everyone, and I'm not trying to dismiss the idea. Just send me an email, let me look at it before I give you my answer, okay? It's Weebly and Caspio app. Okay. Yeah, we can do a Weebly deployment live stream. We can have some data pages and we can go through deployment. Even though on a lot of our UVGs, Ultimate Video Guides, if you were to, let's say we go to Caspio.com and we go under Resources, and we click on Resource Center, Tutorials. Like this contact management application, in the 5th video, deploying, I'm using Weebly. So here I use Weebly to deploy the entire application. So if you haven't seen this ultimate video guide, this will be a good starting point. Okay. In fact, you can just watch the final video because I don't know how long it is. 18 minutes. But I think I have about 8, 9, or 10 data pages developed, and we take all 8, 9, or 10 and we deploy them here in the final video. Okay, so let me take a look. Many-to-many relationships would be cool to see. Maybe dovetails into triggers. Okay. Many-to-many we can do. I did an online database. I don't know if you've seen it, but we did a more complex database design. Not that one. Database design with Caspio. Let me know if you've seen this one. If you have seen that video, let me just skip this. Here you'll see a much more complex, which has a many-to-many built in. So many-to-many essentially is two one-to-manys, right? You have a one-to-many and you have a one-to-many, which leads into a many-to-many. So this is an example of a many-to-many where projects, users are both stamped into the tasks table because one project can have many tasks, and then one user can be assigned to more than one project. One of the few you haven't seen. So check this one out because we go through an extensive detail on a database design. We start out with a simple database design. Okay. This is a simple one, and then we do one that's intermediate. This one here, which is in the education industry, and then we do a more complex one, which is project management. So you have clients who have many projects. One client can have many contacts. One project can have many milestones. One project can have many tasks. One task can have many hours. One task it's not just hours. I think I have something else here, but I don't remember what it was. Check out this video and see if this helps you out. Let me take a look. Can we develop a messenger app in Caspio? Yeah, you could actually. So kind of like on Facebook when you log in and you can send messages back and forth between two users where they can communicate. So if I go back to my other dashboard example here, let's say you're looking at customers, right? Imagine, let me think for a second. Imagine we go to details here, and these are the messages sent to me by somebody else. You could have a button in each one of these or a link that says reply, reply, reply. So yeah, it's a one-to-many essentially, right? So I could create a new message. I can select a user in the dropdown and I can send them a message, hit submit. They're going to be able to see that message. And now I can click on a link here to reply, which will bring up a form. And now I can reply back to that user. And then we can click on details to see the full conversation between the two users. So you could have a messaging system going back and forth. I actually built something like that in the past, but a long time ago, but I don't have it available as an example anymore. All right, let me take a look at some of the other comments. Voting for triggers, think that would be a good tie into the tasks. Yeah, because even when you build a task, it ties back into a trigger, right? Even though it's event-based, you're still manipulating data in the back end on the table side, right? Where you can create those actions. So if everyone is okay with that, we can do another session on triggers. Okay? But I don't want to combine tasks and triggers together, so we'll do triggers by itself, and then on another session we can do tasks, which will of course tie into triggers as well. So we'll treat them as two separate sessions, because I know we're still lacking on triggers because we didn't talk about variables, we didn't talk about loops, arrays, all that good stuff. So let's do our next live stream trigger session part 2, or triggers part 2. And if you guys have ideas for the type of trigger you'd like to see, send me an email and maybe I can build that in our live stream. Okay, what you would like the trigger to accomplish. And for those of you who keep coming back to these live streams, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Without you coming here, we wouldn't have these live streams. So even if you just hit join and focus on something else, that's perfectly fine too. At least we can get a recording out of it and we can post it on YouTube. Formulas and triggers. Okay, noted. Let me actually note that down. That's actually a good... I'll just write that here on the left or here on the right side. So formulas and triggers. Okay, let me save that to my desktop. Trigger actions. More options. Just want to make sure I save that so I don't forget. Okay, done. Okay, so if there are any other ideas on what you would like to get out of the triggers, definitely let me know. What I'll do here is I'll close the live stream. Again, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you guys keep coming back, so thank you. And looping, yeah, so we'll definitely cover looping. Yeah, for sure. That's going to be loops. Okay, we'll add loops to it. Absolutely. I know loops and variables will make it. Okay. So I will end the live stream. I'll keep the chat going if you guys still want to chat with me, but I'll close the live stream. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Hope you guys are safe and celebrating with your families, and I'll see you guys next year. Okay? Hey, Ben, so if you're going to email me something to troubleshoot, like your existing trigger, I'm not going to have the time. I'm just going to be honest with you. I won't have the time to look into it because I have to work on some other stuff at Caspio, but we have our support team that can definitely inspect it for you and take a look at your issue. So do me a favor, go that route first, send your issue with the support team. But if it's an idea that you want to do, and if you're okay with me recreating that in the live stream, obviously I'm not going to use your fields, I'm not going to use your application, I'll use fictitious information. But if it's something that you feel comfortable with me presenting on the live stream, then send it to me. Okay, but I don't have the time to inspect your actual problem. That's the thing, because I just have too many things that I have to work on. But our support team will gladly take a look at it and try to troubleshoot that for you. Okay? Thanks, Katie. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Darlene as well. Steph. I'm calling you Steph because I'm used to, I watch a lot of basketball. We have the Golden State Warriors here, Stephen Curry, so I'm used to staying Steph. But Stephen, or Steven, thank you so much. All right, thanks, Ben. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next year.